The coworker that you carpool with comes out of their home late every single morning. You have a disagreement with a family member and you don't know what to say. The PTA president asks you once again to help with the annual bake sale. Everywhere you turn, there's a situation that is begging, pleading for you to set a boundary. What do we do about these situations? How do we communicate our boundaries with people in a healthy, mature way? Well, I'm glad you asked. I have the answer in this video. So grab your favorite drink, pull up a chair, and let's get started. Welcome. I am Dr. Tracy Dickens, a psychologist. And if this is your first time here, welcome. I'm so glad you found my channel. And if you have been here before, welcome back. I'm so glad to share my time with you again. Today, I thought the perfect way to set the tone for this conversation is found in 1 Peter 5, verses 7 through 8. Now, before I read those verses, I want to give those verses a context. The verses prior to 7 and 8 speak to being humble and recognizing the impact and the influence that our interactions and our communications have with the people around us. Let me read the actual verses. Cast all of your anxiety on him because he cares for you. Be alert and of sober mind. Your enemy, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion looking for someone to devour. Oftentimes, whenever we experience a boundary violation, we find that our emotions are really keyed up. We're really worked up. We're on edge. We're restless. We want to say something. And sometimes we will feel very tempted to speak out of those emotions. But in this verse, it reminds us that we want to approach situations with a sober mind. And in Greek, sober mind is getting at the idea of being clear-headed, self-possessed, being aware of what's actually happening at the current moment. So, in a communication kind of situation, this is truly getting at, do you understand what you're actually experiencing? Do you know what your emotions are? Do you know what your thoughts are? Do you know what your needs are? Do you understand what the violation means to you? Do you understand the impact? And taking the time to sort through all of that before you say a word. So how does that look in a boundary kind of situation? Effective boundary communication focuses on you and what you do. Oftentimes we take an ineffective approach by focusing on what the other person is doing. In the previous video, I mentioned that boundaries starts with you, determining my capacity for the current situation or the request that is in front of me. I have to be focused on my self-care, my safety, my mental health, my physical health, my sanity. So that has to be the focus. And if that's my focus, then it's about self-control, which fits in with the verse I read earlier about being sober-minded and being self-possessed and aware of the current situation. Instead of being motivated in an ineffective way, and if you're not sure what that might look like, well, here's some examples. Let's use the example of someone's taken your lunch out of the refrigerator at work. And so you know who it is, but you don't say anything to the person. You just make this very indirect comment about how, well, someone took your lunch and you just go out to lunch. You didn't want to eat that lunch anyway. Or maybe you take a passive aggressive approach and you say out loud with the person in the room, well, some people just don't know how to read labels on food in the refrigerator. I guess I'm going to have to go out and get my lunch. So instead of saying it, you act it out. Or maybe you've taken the aggressive approach. I'm going to security, I'm going to the EO officer. You are aggressive, you are lit, and it's all about your feelings, and that's where you just are. It's just threatening and demanding and being pushy. And then of course, there's the manipulation. Oh, I'm so hungry. You ate my lunch and now I don't have any money and I don't have any food and I don't have anybody to get me any food and I'm just, When you take the more effective approach, you will accept the fact that you are powerless to control what other people do. But you very much so have the power to control how often you're around this person. You can control if you even need to be around this person. You can put your energy towards the healthy relationships in your life and experience more love and joy and peace. You feel empowered versus an ineffective approach. You feel invalidated and ineffective and powerless. Spending a lot of time and energy focused on negotiating and trying to manipulate somebody into fitting into the image that you have for them, or trying to get them to meet your needs. You and I are responsible to getting our needs met. And of course, he's involved in that in a big way as well. Are you ready? You got your pen and paper ready? Are you listening? I hope so, because this is big. When you show up in front of that person and you are ready, you have decided, I am gonna do it the healthy way. I'm gonna communicate my boundary in an effective way. I will not apologize. This is a big win for women. This is a huge win for women. We love to apologize for something. We run into someone's hand and we apologize for being there where their hand was. A lot of times we apologize because we are operating from a narrative that suggests that we don't have the right to advocate for ourselves, or that we're being selfish or mean or manipulative or cruel. You are always in the right when you are advocating for your self-care, your mental health, your finances, your physical health, your safety, your security. That is absolutely 100% okay. And here's the thing, if the person has mental health, if they're emotionally mature, they will respect your boundaries, because healthy people understand the importance of boundaries. They have their own boundaries and they want people to respect them. When other people set limits or tell them where the limits are or their boundaries, or they express their needs, they get it. They totally understand. So if somebody gets upset with you for setting a boundary, that is a huge clue that you are in two different places on the emotional maturity range, okay? I'm not saying the person's bad. I'm just saying you're in two different places when it comes to emotional maturity or mental health or understanding of what your needs are, okay? So do not, under any circumstances, apologize. You got it? Okay. The next thing you're not going to do is you're not going to say too much. I heard a counselor say once that children explain, adults inform. And that's all I'm going to say about that. The next thing you're not going to do is you're not going to waver, because you'll find that some people will push back. They'll be resistant. They will not want to hear what you have to say. And I'm going to talk about how you handle that in the next video. But for now, I want you to stand firm. If you don't believe in the boundary that you are setting, then other people won't believe in it either. The more you do the work on the front end, understanding the why and how this boundary impacts your capacity as far as time and money and energy and social media and relationships and intimacy and all those things, the easier it is to not waver. So be of sober mind. When there's a boundary violation, you want to take a deep breath. When we take a deep breath, it calms down our sympathetic system, which takes us out of fight or flight, and we can see the situation with more clarity, and we can get better understanding of what we're thinking and feeling and what the need is, and speak to the need instead of speaking to control and manipulate and punish. Next, you want to be clear about what the situation is and be clear about what you were thinking and feeling in this situation. In the example of a coworker taking your sandwich, I saw you earlier eating the sandwich that I brought, and I thought to myself, this has happened before with this person, and this is really hurtful, and this is what I'm needing, this is what I'm expecting, or this is what I'm wanting. You have a disagreement with a family member. What often happens when we have disagreements with family members is that we go to a another family member and we get them to join our side, our perspective. And I'm gonna say, no, 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 no. Don't triangulate the situation. If you need to talk to someone to process the situation, find someone that can provide wise counsel, meaning they're gonna let you say what you need to say and work it out and give you guidance, and they're not gonna keep you stirred up in the emotions. They're gonna help you sort through the emotions and get to the real meat of the matter. So you can go and talk to that family member one-on-one and tell them what it is that you were seeing, how it impacted you, and what it is that you want, need, or expect. You have that example of the person who every time you show up to their house for carpool, they're just coming out of the house late and you're getting to work late and it's stressing you out. What do? Well, you tell them, I'm gonna go to work at this time, so I have time to get there when I need to get there to get set up for the day. And because that's gonna be earlier than what you're going to arrive, I will get your coffee and have it waiting for you in your office when you arrive. And we can spend time at lunch later talking and getting caught up because we're gonna miss that time in the car. And then after you do all that, regardless of how the outcome is, whether it's how you want it to go or not how you want it to go, have a plan for self-care, because advocating for yourself, even when it goes well, it's stressful because there's always the risk that the person may get upset, get angry, reject what you have to say. The fact that you did it deserves a huge celebration and some self-care. And self-care can look like going for a walk after and reflecting on the fact that you advocated for yourself and you're a boss. Or it can mean that you journal later and you talk about what the experience was like. Meditate, you can check in on the narrative that you're telling yourself, especially if it didn't go well. If you're letting ants attack you, meaning automatic negative thoughts, then yeah, we need to get the ant killer out and go, well, no, and remind yourself that you advocated for yourself. And obviously I can't capture everything in a 10 or 15 minute video. So I'm going to, once again, link the names of the books that I use to do this series in the description down below. And in the description, you'll find the other videos that I kind of shamelessly plugged in this video down below. And while you're down there, push the like button so YouTube can send this out to more people. Subscribe to this channel because I have 2 more videos in this series. And honestly, I just have a lot of great videos for the rest of the year. You really want to come back. Trust me on this one. You'll want to come back. And as always, write down below what resonated with you. And until I see you in the next video, choose joy. Take care. Bye.